Hi, this is Alvin again, the CEO of Dr. Wealth. Now I'm going to share with you Singapore Airlines or SIA second tranche mandatory convertible bonds or NCB in short. And this is not the first time. The last year they did a raise via this MCB as well for during the COVID period. A lot of airlines will get hit. So now this is the second tranche. So what's the deal? And I want to help you understand and you can better decide whether you want to subscribe or not. Usual disclaimer, pause and read it if you need to. Let me do some recap since last year, the COVID-19, a lot of airlines you can see were being affected, and as of course their share price were tanking. It was a time where the SIA was trying to raise $8.8 billion through a rights issue as well as an MCB issue. Okay, so altogether they raised $8.8 billion, and along the way the situation improved. The end of circuit breaker, Singapore also started to open up, then started through the phase 2 implementation. Share price remained low, right? And then by August, they used up half of what they have raised in May. Okay, so there was a pretty fast burn rate, right? But soon they managed to cut the costs, and they even raised another round via the bonds, A50 at the end of December 2020. And the economy seems to be doing well. Vaccines was invented and being distributed, and people's hope of getting the travel plans back is back on the table. And then the share price of SIA also started to perform. And December 2020 we had the phase 3, right? And until now, the start of the phase 2 heightened alert. Okay, and this is also the point that SIA is raising another round, 6.2 billion worth of MCB number 2. Okay, so let's take a look then what this deal entails. It's raising $6.2 billion is a renounceable rights MCB. That means you can actually sell the rights if you don't have intention to subscribe. Alright, so that is what renounceable means. The rights will be traded on SGX, and you will be given the rights. Okay, they are not your MCB yet. They are rights to the MCB. You can get to sell these rights if you want to. The deal is for every 100 shares you have, you will get 209 NCB rights. Okay, and if you want to convert them to MCBs, okay, if you want to convert them to MCB, you need to pay $1 each. Okay, so for example, just give you an example. If you have 1,000 SIA shares, you will have 2,090 MCB rights. Okay, and then only if you pay $2,090, then you can convert these rights into MCBs. Okay, if you do not want to convert them, then you don't need to pay for it, and you can even sell this if you want to. Then you can get back some money, right, to prevent the dilution from happening. Okay, so this is how the deal works. Is there zero coupon even though it's a bond? That means you're not going to collect any interest even after you convert it to MCBs. Okay, and automatically it will be converted to shares on 8 June 2030, 9 years from now. And the conversion price that they will use is based on $4.84. Okay, so which means you will take, if you have 2,090 dollars worth of MCB, right? You just take this number, divide by 484. Okay, you take 2090 divided by 4.84. This will give you the number of shares you will get on June 2030. Right, so that is how the deal works. Okay, it's a little bit complicated, I must say, because there's a lot of mechanism, right? And in fact, that's not all. SIA have the right to even redeem it early if they want to, before June 2030. If they do so, then the deal will be different at that point in time, right? So that is one unknown that they can redeem if they want to. Okay, the price that they redeem will be staggered as well. There's a plan. You have to look at the details, right? But if not, then it will be converted to shares on 8 June 2030. Okay, and this is the latest results that SIA has released in May. And let's just focus on the full year performance. Okay, comparing the latest year with the previous year, you can see that there is a big drop in the revenue. Right, there's a big drop in revenue. 4 times, right? About 4 times lower. And they did manage to decrease the expenses, the total expenses by a lot too, more than half, right? But because the revenue drop is a lot more than the cost savings, right? That's why they end up with a very big loss for the entire year, right? A $4.3 billion loss, okay, in the latest FY. All right, so it's I think it's commendable that they managed to slash the cost by more than half. It's not possible to just go to zero, right? You cannot just not spend any money. It's impossible. Okay, aircraft business is airline business is very, very expensive to operate, and the passenger traffic is not coming back anytime soon, right? And most of this revenue were coming from the cargo side, right? And SIA is unlikely to belly up despite all these pessimistic losses that has incurred since last year, right? Because it still have about $7.7 billion cash as of 31st March, okay, the financial year end. And the senior VP for finance also mentioned that the burn rate has reduced to $100 to $150 million a month. So we take $7.7 billion with $150 million burn rate, right? It's still estimated to last around 49 months, and that's 4 years. And I think that if the airlines or the travel don't come back by within 4 years, I think it's very sad for human race, and I don't know whether you'll still be around anymore. Okay, so I do think that the runway is sufficient, right? And now they are raising another $6.2 billion via the MCB, and that will extend 41 months to about 3 years more, 3+ years more. So with that 7 years worth of cash and with that reduced burn rate, they should be able to survive for quite a while, right? Even without the passenger travel coming back. Okay, MCB previously during the first tranche, right, when it was introduced and issued, okay, it was severely undersubscribed. Only about 60% of the 3.5 billion was subscribed. And if you actually exclude Temasek, because Temasek is a big shareholder of SIA, so they took their share. Okay, they took their share of the MCB, they subscribed to it. If you exclude Temasek, only 4% of the MCB was subscribed. That is very pathetically low. And even the directors of SIA, most of them did not subscribe. The CEO and the chairman let the MCB rights lapse. But however, they did took up the rights shares at that point in time. Okay, so they did pump in some money, but they took the shares instead of taking the MCBs in this case. And you can sell the rights, but I think it will be very hard. Okay, because you can see that the demand is not there. So even if it's a renounceable rights, you can sell these rights MCB. They may not be enough buyers to buy from you, right? And even if there is buyer, because the rights price can be very low. I remember it was like 0.001, probably the lowest, or 2 or 3 around there. Okay, I think it's less than 0.004. Okay, so even if you have like 1,000 rights, okay, just assuming that, then you times this number, 0.001 0.1 cents basically, you will get about $1. And then if you have to pay a brokerage of $25 just to take back $1, it might not be worthwhile for you to even sell the rights in the first place. Okay, so I think even though it's renounceable, it would be hard for you to sell the rights for a meaningful amount. Okay, and there's just not enough demand for it. But don't worry, okay, because Temasek has promised to buy all the MCBs if nobody wants. Okay, they will take their share, right? Whatever they are given, they will definitely subscribe. And then, if anybody don't want the MCBs, they will take it up. Okay, so that is what Temasek has promised to do, and I think it will be that case anyway. Okay, if you choose to subscribe, this is the timeline that you need to remember, right? So as of 27 May, 9 a.m., the SIA shares will trade X rights, and when they trade X right, that means SIA share price will come down. Okay, by the rights dilution amount. And the next day, the following day, 28 May, that's the record date. So if you hold the share until this date, you will be given the rights. Okay, so that's the significance of this record date. And on 2nd June, the rights will start to trade. They will have a new ticker. For these rights, you can sell them if you want to. Okay, and you can also buy them, not necessarily sell them. If you want more rights, you can actually buy them. Okay. Or you can even, I think the better deal is that if you want more, you don't mind getting more of these MCBs, right? Because eventually, maybe 9 years later, you want the shares of SIA. Then what you can do is that I think you can just apply for extra rights. Okay, you don't even need to buy the rights in the open market because of the low demand that's there. Right, but if you want to trade it, you can, and you can also start to convert them to MCBs. Okay, so you will get the rights by 28 May, and you want to exercise the rights, convert them by paying the necessary amount to convert it. You can do so, right? So that's the first date you can start converting, and you will trade for about a week. So 10 June, it will be the last date that they will trade the rights. Okay, and then 16 June is the last date that you have to pay for the rights to convert to MCBs. Okay, so this is an important date. Right, so if you have the intention to subscribe, I think do it as early as possible, and you can start doing it at 2nd June. Don't need to wait until the last minute. Okay, so the cutoff timing, right? If you are using the CDP to hold your shares, then you have until 5 p.m. on 16 June. If you use your ATMs and all this electronic application, then at 9:30 p.m. Okay, so as I said, try not to remember too many things. Do it as early as possible if you really intend to convert to MCBs. Okay, then on 24th June, the rights will be issued. The MCB will be issues, and then on 25th June, the MCB will start trading. Right, so the MCB will become another counter that will trade on the market as well. Okay, so for example, the first MCB, right, is traded using this name. Okay, I can't remember what's the ticker already. I think WLOB, something like this, right? But this is the name of the MCB. It's actually tradable. So after even you convert to MCBs, you can sell it. At some point in time, you think that, okay, I decided not to have it, right? You can actually sell it, provided there's somebody to buy from you. But judging from the volume, especially in the recent months, it seems like there is. Okay, and remember the MCB is traded at $1. Right, so that is like the baseline, and the last done price was about $9.95, so it's pretty close. Okay, and in fact, some point in time it was above $1. Right, it was traded above $1. Okay, so although the rights nobody won, but once the MCB trade, it seems like there's a lot more interest in it compared to the past. So it will be the same thing. This second tranche MCB will also be listed and traded, and if you change your mind, you can still sell it before 2030 instead of getting the converted shares at the end of the day. So in summary, this is a SIA second MCB raise, and it would extend the runway by another 3+ years. So total, it will increase it to about 7+ years, which I think should be more than enough for the COVID situation to blow away, and not totally blow away. Okay, I just want to clarify myself. I think it will stay forever, but you know, life have to go on, and then most people will be vaccinated, and travel should more or less resume, even though unlikely to be at the same kind of capacity and activity as prior to COVID. But I'm pretty hopeful that it will happen within definitely the 7 over years. Okay, and note the timeline if you intend to subscribe. Right, unlikely you can sell the rights in the secondary market. That's what I think. But you know, you should always look at what is offered in the market. For all you know, this time is different, right? This time maybe the MCB is a lot more in high demand. Okay, the market always surprises, right? So if you want to intend to subscribe, remember the timeline, and you can start converting since from 2nd June onwards, and the deadline, I think it was 16 June, right? Yeah, 16 June. Okay, so in between this period, you can do your conversion. Okay, and last but not least, I think MCB, even this second tranche, should not be popular, right? Judging from my perspective, right? And end up Temasek will still be taking out majority of this MCB. Okay, so after 10 years, when the MCBs get converted, Temasek stake in SIA will increase a lot more from then. All right, so that is the breakdown of this MCB tranche, the second MCB tranche from SIA. I hope that you have a better understanding now, and you know what to do about it. Okay, cheers.